this interview airing on April 6th, a date that'll be forever etched in everyone in the world's minds after what happened 5 years ago. So for those that maybe don't know, Mike, you were on the bench with Darcy Haugan for over a decade in Peace River, coaching with him, the late Darcy Haugan, the late Humboldt Broncos coach. It's now 5 years to the anniversary. We spoke with you year 2 in Wetaskiwin, and just recapping what you've gone through in the journey. Mike, what's the journey been like here?
It's still a journey for me. It still gives me, sorry, I get emotional about this, but it still gives me shivers on that day. He meant a lot to me. Ooh. You know, looking back, like I told you, that first big interview, I think me talking to you that day over those 2 periods, or those 2 interview periods, helped me, me mentally, but I'm sorry. It still, you know, it brings, you know, it's memories of Darcy, how the way he treated people, you know, his teams, those were his boys, and he would love to watch them grow from boys to men. So that was his theme. He wanted to grow these young gentlemen into, you know, people that could help, you know, society and learn something from the process. So he was that type of guy, and you know, he was a big influence in my hockey career, staying with the Nows. And like I told you, that year that it happened, I almost walked away from the game because it was tough to walk back into that arena, you know, but those doors that he walked through. But I stayed with it just because of what he had taught me, you know. And I know he would have said, don't stop what you're doing. So his memory holds deep with me, as you can tell by my emotions. Sorry.
It's okay.
But, you know, he was a man with influence, and you could tell by when the accident happened how things played out after. The support for his wife and his family that came from the hockey community. He was well known throughout, whether it was in the Northwest or the SJ. I know he started his coaching career in the SJ down in Estevan, came home to run the Navigators, a team that he's actually had a hand in starting. You know, he played a big part in my life for 10 years and beyond, because we were always in communication, we always talked. To this day, his phone number stays in my phone, his text messages are still there. You know, it's always, you know, it's a tough day, and it really hits hard on me.
Yeah, understandable. Is there, when you look at the impact that his memory has been able to make across the world, and, you know, quotes that he shared are now more common across the world, what does that mean to you to know that his character has made that much of an impact in the world?
Well, just, to me, it just, you know, it's good to know that his memory continues and stays, and you know, like little quotes like take care of the seconds, the minutes will take care of themselves, or stuff like that. His you know, just anything he said or did was always seemed to be on point and in the right direction, and he was always there to help young men, even if they were running in a little trouble, like he never looked away from anybody. If somebody had a troubled past, he took them on. He took, he wanted to help. He wanted to change their lives, and I know I seen that he changed a lot of hockey players' lives for the better. I mean, there's a lot of there's kids that stayed in the community up there. There's kids that are all over that are, pillars of their communities now and that sort of thing. So yeah, he had like I said, a big impact, and it's nice to see his impact still out there and still being remembered.
Yeah, Mike, I appreciate you, being honest, and I've always valued our relationship and friendship and your just sincerity through that. I know the journey's been very, very difficult through this, but I think that, it's remarkable for your courage to be able to come on and talk about some of these things. So really appreciate you talking about it. Is there a memory maybe that comes to mind that you want to share of Darcy specifically at all?
There's a couple. I mean, I remember being in Fort St. John with big rivalry. We were playing a game. One of our affiliate players got hit from behind close to the bench and no call. And this is the type of person Darcy was. He stood up for his players. He went off on a referee. I've never seen him go off like that. And it was a yard sale. Everything on the bench that was loose went onto the ice. Even the goalie's backup gear, the sticks, the water crates, any water bottle that he could get his hands on. He even got his hold of the team repair kit box, which had, I don't know, I wouldn't even. I'd be afraid to see what would have happened if it got there. But our trainer at the time, Rick Bergen, he grabbed that thing and held onto it like a running back with a football. He wasn't letting it go because it would have been a real disaster. And he got kicked out, definitely got, but he made his point. And, it was very few and far between that you seen that. But, if his players need to be backed up, he backed them up. And there was no ifs, ands, buts about it. He was there for his players and always there for the team and the community, always worked hard. His office door was always open. You could always go in and talk to him at any time. So, we had a lot of chats. We spent a lot of time in his office talking, the next game or what happened in the previous game or that sort of stuff. And, it was surprising because if anybody knew me back then, I was the one with the temper. I was the one that always went off. But all the years that we spent together, I'd only been tossed out of one game. And he'd got 3 or 4, but, there was always a reason. It was always something that came up that, that wasn't fair, wasn't, proper. And he made sure everybody knew about it or certain people knew about it. So, he was that type of guy. He was a stand-up guy, and that's what I really liked about him. And he worked his magic, and he made sure kids had what they needed and to succeed. And you can go by his record in the NW or even the AJ or the SJHL. He gave everybody what they needed to succeed, and that was what he wanted. He wanted players to succeed, whether it would be in hockey or in life.
Well, Mike, you're doing the same thing as the chair for Alberta Junior B, so I thank you for your time and love the direction the province is going, and looking forward to the future and more conversations. I appreciate your time, Mike.
Thank you.